This is the deep dive. We are Artworkium.
Hello there.
And today we are kicking off something totally new for us, a series dedicated to proving that, well, genius isn't always about spaceships and software.
Not at all. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight, maybe right next to the pool table at your local spot.
Exactly. So welcome to Inventive Legacies, patents that shaped our lives.
Yeah, in this series, we're going to, pause and really look at the smarts and sometimes the amazing level of detail behind inventions we use all the time without a second thought.
We're unpacking the history, the mechanics, all the stuff behind those incredible patent prints you can find in our Artworkium online store.
That's right.
And look, before we dive into today's invention, we really want to say a huge thank you
Oh, absolutely.
to all of you who've supported Artworkium, by grabbing our digital prints. We love seeing them out there.
We really do.
So this series, it's kind of an extra resource, our way of saying thanks. So you don't just have a cool piece of art.
You actually get the story behind it, the problem it solved, the thinking that went into it.
Precisely. So today, we're heading into the toys and games section of the store.
We are, and we're looking at an invention that, honestly, probably saved the billiards world a small fortune.
We're talking about the Billiard Ball Rack. Seems simple, right?
Deceptively simple. It's crucial, brilliantly engineered, and often completely overlooked.
If you've ever shot pool, you've definitely used one, probably never gave it a moment's thought.
Well, we're here to argue that maybe you should have.
We're focusing specifically on U.S. patent US3423087. And just so you know, there's a direct link in the description if you want to see the actual drawings while we talk.
Yeah, pull it up. It helps visualize what we're discussing.
Okay, so let's get into it. The inventor, Frank J. Sowa.
Frank J. Sowa, yeah, from Evergreen Park, Illinois, right here in the USA.
He filed this back in April 1966.
Serial number 540,710, if you're curious.
But the patent itself, the one we're looking at, US3423087, that was officially published January 21st, 1969.
Right, and that date's important because Sowa wasn't trying to invent the triangle shape itself.
Yeah.
That had been around forever, basically.
No, he was zeroing in on a problem, a consequence, really, of how people use the existing rack.
Exactly. The problem caused by the old way of racking.
Which we're calling the felt scraping nightmare because, honestly, it kind of was.
It really was. You see, before Sowa, people had tried making racks with removable bottoms. You'd set the balls, then slide the bottom out.
Sounds okay in theory.
In theory. But the patent documents call these prior designs impractical.
Impractical how? What was the snag?
Well, think about it. To pull that bottom piece out smoothly, you had to hold the main triangle frame perfectly still with one hand,
Okay.
while using your other hand to tug horizontally on the bottom piece.
Ah, I see the problem. Two opposing forces.
Exactly. You need surgeon's hands, basically. Any little bit of horizontal friction, any tugging, and the whole rack would shift. Just a tiny bit.
But a tiny bit is all it takes to mess up a perfect rack for the break.
Totally ruins it. But it was worse than just ruining the game.
Yeah, you mentioned the felt. There was a real economic cost here, wasn't there?
Oh, absolutely. That constant shifting, that sliding, game after game, day after day.
It's like sandpapering the felt.
Pretty much. And good quality pool table felt, especially back in the late 60s, that wasn't cheap. It was a significant investment.
So for a busy pool hall with, say, 20 tables.
Yeah, imagine having to replace that felt way more often than you should, just because the racks are slowly wearing it down with these little micro abrasions.
So his invention wasn't just making life easier for players.
No, it was a genuine money saver for businesses. It turned a recurring maintenance headache, a real expense, into a one-off purchase.
Okay, so Sowa identifies this big issue. How do you get a solid base out from under 17 heavy billiard balls, perfectly set up on a smooth surface, without any horizontal force?
Right. And his solution, well, let's just say it involved adding a bit of clever mechanics to that simple triangle.
This is where it gets interesting. It stops being just plastic and becomes, well, a machine.
A little machine, yeah. So we figured out you couldn't pull the base out sideways. You had to let it drop away.
Drop away.
Yeah. So the key innovation is the base plate. The bottom part is hinged. It pivots at one of the back corners.
Like a little trapdoor?
Exactly like a trapdoor. But a special one. It's spring-loaded. There's a pre-wound torsion spring that's constantly trying to push it open.
Okay, so the base wants to swing open. What stops it until you're ready? You can't just have it popping open randomly.
Ah, that's the other clever part. His release mechanism. It wasn't just some flimsy little latch.
Mm.
So he used a proper clutch system.
Wait, a clutch?
Yeah.
Like in my car?
Yep.
For a pool rack? Seriously?
Well, similar principle.
Mm.
It's designed to keep everything locked solid, zero movement, until the very instant the player wants it to release.
Okay, how does that work then? How do you trigger it?
So the player places the rack down, make sure the bottom edge is sitting flat on the table, they hold the rack steady, and then using their thumb and finger on a specific finger hold, they give it a small lift, a vertical lift.
Ah, okay, so the spring is round tight, ready to go,
Like a mousetrap, yeah.
and the clutch is like the little pin holding it back. Lifting the finger hold releases the clutch?
That's it. The clutch disengages, the spring unwinds instantly, and swings the base wall open and down.
And because the action is purely vertical?
There's no horizontal tugging.
Yeah.
The balls stay perfectly still, no shift, no scraping.
That's elegant. Really stable. But I mean, a spring, a clutch. Wasn't it prone to breaking? Did they have issues?
The patent itself doesn't go into failure rates, obviously, but the design seems focused on being pretty robust.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the complexity isn't just for show, it's functional.
Right.
That vertical lift is actually quite smooth. Once the clutch teeth let go, the spring does the work immediately. It feels solid. So it was definitely thinking about high-use places like pool halls, not just someone's basement game room.
Okay, so he solved the release problem brilliantly, but Sowa didn't stop there, did he? This is where it gets into almost accidental ergonomic genius. He used physics.
Yeah, it's fascinating. He didn't just solve getting the base out from under the balls. He thought about how it leaves, the path it takes.
And the balls themselves actually help. That's the bit I find amazing. Tell us about this bevel.
It's such a neat detail. So the back edge of that hinged base plate, right where the balls sit just before they drop, it's not flat. There's a slight slope, a rearwardly downward bevel, as the patent calls it.
Okay, a little ramp.
A tiny ramp. So as the spring starts swinging the base open, the balls immediately begin to roll gently off this slope.
And as they roll downwards, even that tiny bit, their weight creates a sort of wedging action.
Exactly. It actually pushes down on the opening base plate, helping it swing open. It's like self-assisting gravity power.
The balls are basically helping the spring do its job.
They're supplementing the spring's force. But here's the really clever part, the second layer. That rolling action also controls the descent.
How so?
It stops the base plate from just suddenly crashing down or flying open wildly.
Right.
The friction of the balls rolling provides a bit of damping.
So it ensures the movement is gradual, smooth.
Perfectly smooth, a controlled, soft drop onto the felt. The balls settle tightly, undisturbed. It's just beautifully thought out.
It really is. A little dance between the spring, gravity, and the balls themselves. Okay, but he still wasn't done. There's the placement aspect, too.
Ah, yes. The handles. Now, handles aren't exactly revolutionary.
No, lots of racks have handles.
But Sowa's patent specifically points out that handles 85 and 86, the ones on the sides, they're placed precisely at the center of gravity of the loaded rack.
Hang on. Loaded rack. So he didn't just stick handles on for grip. He calculated the weight of all 15 balls, plus the cue ball, plus the rack itself.
And figured out the exact balance point.
And put the handles right there.
That's what the patent implies, yes. Think about lifting a full rack. It's heavy-ish
Right.
and awkward. You always get that little wobble as you try to position it perfectly.
Yeah, you do. Trying not to nudge the balls already on the table.
By putting the handles at that combined center of gravity, lifting and placing the rack becomes almost effortless. No wobble. Maximum stability for that crucial initial placement.
Wow. That detail, it just grounds the whole invention, doesn't it? It takes something simple like a handle and makes it a core part of the design's effectiveness.
It shows real attention to the entire user experience, not just the flashy mechanical bit. That's smart engineering.
Okay, so we've just spent a good few minutes really digging into, well, a plastic triangle for holding pool balls.
Yeah, when we put it like that.
What part of this really stood out to you? We went from saving money on felt to, like, applied physics.
For me, I think it was actually that economic angle you mentioned earlier. Realizing that the old racks literally damaged the tables.
Yeah.
It reframes the whole thing.
How so?
It makes Sowa's invention less of a gadget, and more of a serious industrial improvement, a cost-saving solution. That elevates it for me.
Yeah, I get that. For me, honestly, it was the sheer mechanical complexity packed into such a simple object.
The clutch and spring.
Yeah, the fact that someone engineered a spring-loaded, pivoting, clutch-released system just so the balls would stay perfectly tight for one shot. That, and using the ball's own weight to control the drop, that bevel detail is just brilliant.
Or maybe, for you listening, it was that final touch, the simplest thing. Maybe putting the handles at the exact center of gravity. That kind of holistic thinking.
So what was your aha moment hearing about US3423087? Was it the clutch mechanism, that clever little bevel, or just the fact that racking pool balls was apparently a pretty significant engineering challenge back in the day?
We'd love to know what you found most surprising or fascinating.
Yeah, head over to Artworkium's social media channels. Let us know. And hey, while you're there, maybe leave us a review, subscribe to the series. That way you won't miss our next deep dive into another amazing patent print.
So just to wrap things up, Frank J. Sowa's 1969 Billiard Ball Rack patent, US3423087, it fundamentally tackled that expensive felt damage problem.
Right. It got rid of the damaging side-to-side shifting by replacing that awkward horizontal tug with a smooth vertical release action, using a spring, a pivot, a clutch.
And then it went further, using the ball's own weight rolling off that bevel to ensure a gradual, controlled opening.
Plus those perfectly balanced handles for easy, stable placement. It's just layer upon layer of thought.
It really is a great reminder, isn't it? That even the most everyday tools, things we barely notice, often contain some seriously complex and thoughtful engineering.
Someone really sweated the details on making sure that triangle worked perfectly.
They absolutely did.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this little inventive journey into Sowa's legacy.
We hope it gives you a new appreciation for the patent prints you might own, or just for the hidden cleverness in the world around us.
Thank you so much for your support, for your loyalty. We really appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Please join us again for our next deep dive into another inventive legacy. Until then, keep looking closely at the world around you. You never know what genius you might find.
Catch you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.